Welcome back, everyone, to the Countdown to Kickoff Show, the only nationally televised pregame show that breaks down all of your Sunday NFL action from a point spread perspective. Here from Vegas, Al DeMarco along with Steve Budin. Listen, guys, if you missed any portion of our show, you can simply go to the website. You see the URL at the bottom of the screen. All you've got to do is go there, and you can catch it in its entirety for free. And remember, if you happen to be watching us on foxsports.com or national TV, at the end of the first half hour, which is coming up in about 9 minutes, guys, we will then have over on the website our in-depth previews and picks for the two marquee games on today's board. Of course, those being the Giants and the Patriots, along with the Baltimore-Pittsburgh Sunday Nighter. Steve, before we get going here with our next game to break down, let's talk again about the ad that they just saw about DraftStreet.com. Guys, it is your opportunity to win $300 of my money playing fantasy football this weekend with DraftStreet.com. Here's the deal. The top 7 finishers finish in the money. It's a free contest, guys. You go to DraftStreet.com, you use my last name, or you can lose my last name. It doesn't matter. Use my last name, DeMarco. It's that easy. You've seen it on the screen all throughout this program, DeMarco. That gets you free entry in the contest. You've got until 1 o'clock Eastern time today to make your rosters up. You got a $100,000 bankroll. So you're playing general manager, pick a couple of quarterbacks, a couple of running backs, a couple of wide receivers. Every player has a denominational worth. Every guy has a value assigned to him. That's how you build it.
Brady costs a little more than Tavares Jackson.
Yeah, exactly. And so you go ahead, you put together the whole roster. You've got till 1 o'clock Eastern time to submit it. But Steve, unlike traditional rotisserie leagues, old school fantasy leagues, you don't have to play until January. This league, this $300 free league, is determined after the Monday night game between the Bears and the Eagles.
Just like all the leagues they have on Draft Street, free and premium, everything ends that week. So unlike in the past where we'd always complain, I wouldn't play that fantasy crap, you got to wait all year to make your money, and it was more geared towards gamblers who didn't want to bet every week, didn't want to risk a lot of money, only could live with risking $100 for the course of a season, and those were the guys that generally participated in the fantasy football. Now with DraftStreet.com, it's week to week. And this contest, like Al said, you go to DraftStreet.com, you sign up like you're a new customer, and when they prompt you for a code, you put in Al's last name, DeMarco, and it'll automatically take you right to the $300 contest page. And it doesn't matter if you played every single week. You can continue to play. If you won or you lost, it doesn't matter. You can play every week and go for the money.
And you're playing against hundreds of thousands of you, and along with Steve and myself as well. That's DraftStreet.com, free entry, top 7 finish in the money, $300 of my money at stake. You know, I have a lot less of that money after the Chargers on Monday night.
Yeah, I'm crying for you.
Yeah. But that's DraftStreet.com. Again, use my last name, DeMarco, as your entry code, and that's how easy it is, guys. I'm telling you, if it takes you more than 10 minutes to put together your team for the first time, you've spent 9 minutes too long at the site. That's DraftStreet.com. Last Sunday, I happened to make a lot of money because I hit another 15-dimer, 20 out of 31 this season, pro and college combined, entering the weekend as I scored with Buffalo. I thought the Bills were a joke, laying the points in Toronto. It didn't matter to me that they were 0-3 straight up in Toronto in regular season play. I looked at their opponent, the Redskins, and I thought they're going to roll. That's exactly what they did. 23-0 shutout, 9 sacks for their defense, held the Redskins to just 178 yards in the contest. But we got a different animal coming in now. This time, Buffalo back at home in northern New York, hosting the Jets, who, you remember the Jets' last road trip, that 0-3 debacle.
Yes. Well, look, the Jets, I mean, obviously coming off the bye, and that doesn't really go well for the Jets in the past. I mean, for whatever reason, they get a couple of days off and they lose focus. I don't know if that'll happen here, but a lot of people talk about how much better the Jets' offense looks lately. And I think that's because they're running the ball better, and that's opening up the pass. Beginning of the year, Sanchez had a real tough time passing because they were only averaging 2 yards a carry, and everyone sat on that run and knew exactly what they were going to do. Now they're getting a little more success with the run. It opens up the pass. But for the Jets, they're going to go the way their defense goes. At the end of the day, Darrelle Revis is the key player there. He's the reason why they're having a little bit of a bounce back. I look for the defense to play really good against Buffalo. I'm taking the 1.5 points here. I'm drinking the green Kool-Aid once again and going with the Jets.
And guys, listen, even though I had Buffalo last week, let me just point out this to you. That was a Bills team that dominated Washington that had 4 sacks on the season. They had 9 last week alone, okay? That's just an anomaly. They were ranked 31st in the league in defense. They don't play any defense. They can put points on the board. Jets have the defensive edge. Jets also averaged 31 points in 2 wins against them last year. I like the Jets to win this one outright. As we've seen Buffalo repeatedly this season, a young team, many young teams, can't handle the pressure of being the home chalks. Saw it with Carolina last week. I think it falls, Buffalo falls to a similar fate this week. Next one, Kansas City, Miami. Chiefs, of course, coming off the Monday night home overtime win. Short week, yes, but this is a Chiefs team that is certainly playing well. They've won 4 in a row. First team to start 0-3 and then win 4 in a row since the 2000 Steelers. They've covered 5 straight games. You know, Miami, what can we say? I mean, Miami should have been in the Giants last week, but they didn't, and that's why the Dolphins are in the Andrew Luck sweepstakes and remain defeated for the year.
Yeah, and Sperano gets on after the game and talks about how much courage his players have. I don't know how much courage they had. They played They played a New York team that was asleep the first half because they came off the bye and they really couldn't get up for the Dolphins. I don't know if you can blame them. Then as soon as they needed to, they really won the game with no problem. I don't think that's a great loss for the Dolphins. They're playing a Chiefs team that is getting better and better. Every week they seem to have the momentum. This is a game of momentum. So I'm going to lay the 4.5 points here with the Chiefs. I think they get the win.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think another way to look at this game is the under as well. Neither one of these offenses light it up. You know, the Dolphins have 5 touchdown passes for the entire season, guys. There's a reason they're 6-1 under this year. So at 39.5, 40 points, I think the under is a nice consideration here as well. San Francisco and Washington. Just talked about the Redskins, how I went against them last week. I think I have to do so again today. San Francisco, a cheap price. You know, San Francisco, all 3 previous road games this year, they came to the East Coast, played in the Eastern time zone, won and covered all 3 of them. Why go against the money team? And that's the Niners right now.
I mean, everyone in Washington is wondering what happened to the Redskins. What happened to the Redskins? Well, you hired Shanahan, right? Genius. So much past success he had. And now he brings in McNabb. Okay, great. Then Grossman. Okay, great. Now Beck. This guy's about as sharp as a bowling ball when it comes to evaluating quarterbacks. I mean, I think Washington is a dead piece. They're completely done. I couldn't put any money on them. I'm going against them, too.
178 net yards last week against Buffalo, and even worse for this team, that being Washington. You know, as I pointed out before, the Bills dominated them defensively. The Bills don't have a dominant defense. More importantly, as I pointed out prior to going with Buffalo last week in my analysis on the website, I said that the problem with Washington, they lost Moss and Hightower 2 weeks ago.
Right.
That means they lost 34% of their offense. You don't replace that. The replacement running back, Ryan Terrain, against the Bills, 8 carries, 14 yards. Beck, this is his 3rd start since 2007, guys. It ain't happening. You got to go with the Niners in this particular
And another
spot.
thing is, don't buy into the whole West Coast, East Coast garbage. It doesn't come into play here. It's not going to be a factor. San Fran will roll.
And Frank Gore has been rolling as well. 31 carries last week, 134 yards at home in that win against the Browns. 4 straight great games for Gore. Guys, that is going to conclude the national portion of our show. Remember, you go to the website right now and you are going to get the rest of our program. And those final minutes, we're going to break down the Sunday night game between the Steelers and the Ravens, plus your big marquee game between the Giants and that little team called the Patriots, who are playing in Foxborough. For Steve Budin, this is Al DeMarco. Remember, countdown to kickoff. If you missed any portion of the show earlier, you can catch it in entirety over on the website. And we are the only national pregame show every Sunday to break down all your pregame action from a point spread perspective. We'll catch you again next week.